It's a shame Vileplume sucks ass in GSCUU. I like its design, and its GSC sprites are really good. Vileplume looks good on paper, but we are all out of paper. Vileplume is completely unviable in GSCUU, and you should avoid using it on serious teams. Vileplume is outclassed in almost every single aspect, and it matches up poorly against the metagame. Vileplume's good matchups are very few and far between. Everything Vileplume can do is done better by another grass type, or something like Lantern. Even if Vileplume was the only grass type, it would still be pretty bad considering how awful its typing is. Vileplume should have never been tiered as Yu-Gi-Oh in GSC. It is a relic from a long gone era, when basically nobody cared about GSC lower tiers. Vileplume should realistically be NU, but GSC lower tiers aren't very active, so making tiering shifts happen takes a while. There's no reason to use Vileplume in GSCUU, so don't use it. But why though? What makes Vileplume so terrible? Its stacks look pretty solid, and it has a decent move pool, so what's wrong with Vileplume? Well, fine viewer, I was just about to go over that. Let's analyse GSCUU Shitplume in its entirety. Vileplume stats are respectable. Its HP, physical defense, and special defense are acceptable. Vileplume also has a decent move pool. It learns Sludge Bomb as well as Moonlight. Moonlight gives Vileplume instant recovery and means it doesn't have to use 2 move slots on Rest Talk. That's where Vileplume's good traits end though. Grass plus Poison typing is not a good one for the GSCU metagame. Poison is a poor defensive typing in this tier due to how common Psychic and Ground types attacks are. The fighting resist it gives is useless, and poison attacks are very uncommon outside of Quillfish. Adding a grass type makes it even worse, since now you're weak to flying, ice, and fire. Grass plus poison typing leaves you with weaknesses to most of the common attacking types. Vileplume loses to all of, let's see here, Hypno, Haunter, Mr. Mime, Scyther, Granbull, Nidoqueen, and Gyarados. Yikes. While Vileplume has a good special attack stat, its grass attacks aren't particularly strong. The strongest one it has is Hidden Power Grass, which you don't want to run since it cripples your DVs. The next best option is Razor Leaf, which doesn't scare anything that weak to it, bar crits of course. Vileplume also has Stab Sludge Bomb, but several top Pokemon resist it, and Vileplume's attack stat isn't that high. It can inflict poison, but several top Pokemon use Rest. Vileplume does resist water and electric, but most Pokemon who use these attacking types are prepared for Vileplume. Electabuzz and Ampharos use Fire Punch, while Slowbro and Slowking use Psychic. Vileplume does well Magneton and Lantern, but it can hurt the former, and both of them can ruin it with Thunder Paralysis. Vileplume does beat Blastoise and Blossom, but that's not really impressive. Both are defensive Pokemon who get walled by several Pokemon. Speaking of Blossom, it, alongside Victreebel, is the final nail in the coffin for Vileplume. Blossom is a far superior defensive grass type, since it lacks Plume's poison type. This means Blossom isn't weak to Psychic, and it resists ground. Blossom matches up better against Pokemon like Hypno, Mr. Mime, and Haunter. Vileplume is outclassed offensively by Victreebel too, since Victreebel is faster and stronger. Swords Dance Victreebel is actually a decent Pokemon, whereas Vileplume uses to almost everything. Curse Vileplume with mono poison coverage used to be used, but people realised it's awful. Haunter, Piloswine, and Nidoqueen wall it, Psychic types hit it hard, Scyther can set up versus it, and more. This set will never sweep barring extreme circumstances. Vileplume has massive form moveslot syndrome too. If Vileplume wants to use Sword Stance or Curse, then it has to give up either Synthesis or Stun Spore, which is an awful choice. It wishes it could use 5 move slots, but there aren't 5 move slots, so Vileplume is forced to give up something crucial. Moonlight also only has APP, and since Vileplume often has to spam Moonlight against a paralysed foe, that runs out quickly. This set just sucks. Victreebel is better than this set anyway, since it's stronger and it actually outspeeds Hypno. Vileplume is worse than Blossom if it wants to go defensive, and it's worse than Victreebel if it wants to go offensive. Blossom and Victreebel are already bad, so when you combine them, you get Shitplume. Vileplume loses to almost everything in GCUU, and it's entirely outclassed. Do not, under any circumstances, use Vileplume in this tier. Vileplume should realistically be NU, but it was tiered as Yu-Yo years back. Back then, people thought it was a B minus tier mon because, I don't really know. Vileplume will never be good in this tier. Vileplume has barely ever seen use in tournaments, so I'm surprised it wasn't one of the Pokemon to drop to NU in 2018. People held onto Vileplume until around 2021, when it really became apparent how bad it was. Vileplume has legitimately no reason to be used. Sure, it can beat Lantern Pylo, but Blossom can do that, and it does it better. A lot of people stopped ranking Vileplume on their viability rankings altogether. In July 2022, a Vileplume to NU drop was proposed, but it's taking a while to go through. GCU and NU aren't very active, so it takes a while for tiering shifts to happen. GCU's viability ranking should be updated soon, though, and unless people are silly, Vileplume will be below B-, meaning it can drop to NU. That's for the future to decide though. Right now, on February 24th, 2023, Vileplume is an unviable Pokemon in GC underused.